Welcome everyone as you're entering the conversation. We're so glad to have you be part of it. We're excited to bring you this happy hour in December. It is one of our favorite happy hours. And we're gonna have another favorite happy hour coming up in January as well. So January 9th. I'm just gonna stall a little bit, as you know, because it always takes a little bit to let everybody in. But welcome. We're so glad. We hope you're enjoying this holiday season. Leo, amongst the team, has the spirit already. We're so pleased to see him festively decorating his home. It's gorgeous, Leo. You've done a lovely job with it.
I know it's the Gmail decoration team that really did it. You know, it's just phenomenal.
The Google Property Brothers are on it.
I know, right? Yeah.
Hey, I've decorated. Look.
You won the ugly sweater contest. Thank you.
Every year.
Stavro has some interesting things for people to see. I have, of course, a preview of what we're previewing today. So I'm previewing the preview. It's exciting times. So as we continue to see people flowing in, I'm going to give it just another minute or two. But we really are excited to have you be part of our happy hour this year, or this month, I should say. Well, it feels like a year this month so far. This month is always a crazy time for everyone, so we're grateful that you are part of it. I'm going to start off with just a quick post here. A little while we're stalling and we're letting people in. I'm going to do a quick plug for Painting on Twitch with Walter's Workshop. Evan Walters has a Conquest, Colors of Conquest event on Saturday, the 14th. That's 2 days from today. So I hope you will join him as he is painting, correct me if I'm wrong, the Ashes and Faith War campaign pieces. Is that right, Tasso? Do I have that right? Tasso's not talking.
Fighting the Fire.
Fighting the Fire. Sorry, wrong lore campaign. Oh, I guess the picture would have told me that, didn't it? Wasn't paying attention. I just put the picture up. I didn't actually even look at it. So there you go. And look, it's Evan. Yes, it's you, buddy. Thank you for joining us. Join Evan on Saturday the 12th as we have more fun, digital fun and frivolity as we bring some painting process to the digital worlds. And now I think we've got enough people in, and I see that it's starting to slow the groups coming in. So I'm going to kick it over to Stamo, who's going to talk a little bit about community. He's going to walk us through our OP kits coming up for season 4 and walk through some of the community events that we have going on, starting with, just give me a second to get it open, Samo, and I will be ready for you for our friends in France. Samo, are you there?
Yep.
Okay.
Hello.
Made me nervous for a second. Like, where is he?
Daryl, are you presenting?
I'm trying. It's spinny wheel of death at the moment. My apologies.
No worries.
Just I can actually, because what is not spinny wheel of death, I don't know why all of a sudden I rebooted my computer to make sure we wouldn't be in this spot, but let's go with the OP kits first and we'll come back to the events since they are live.
Season 4 is well underway. We have over 90 world events registered. Woohoo!
That's awesome.
All regions will qualify for HEAS except for Region A, South America. And as always, new OP kits will come out for the new season. So, this season we're having a new OP kit, the World Event OP kit, designed for 12 players. You can see it right now. It contains 3 random previous OP kit miniatures. Oh, this is the in-store play, sorry, my bad. This is the in-store play OP kit. It's designed for 8 players. It contains 1 random OP kit miniature from the previous OP kits and 2 new ones. The 2 new ones are the Quiet Blade Master and the Valkyrie from the High Asgard faction. It has 7 certificates, 8 new alternative command cards, the beloved Spoon, A sticker set with faction logos. You can see that Factions 9 logo is included, but we have hidden it from you. You have to tune in next month for that. A tournament code is included, 8 store activity codes, and 4 resin objective markers. This OP kit code is designed with escalation leagues, tournaments, and narrative play in mind. So it's one OP kit for all in-store events. That's why it has a tournament code and store activity codes inside.
Now, if you are a store or you are a Vanguard on this call, this is your new Season 4 OP kit that ships in less than a month. So order often, order early, and do expect, like we sold out of Season 3, that we probably will sell out of Season 4 before we get through all of Season 4. So please don't wait till the last minute to grab these. I think we've put together an incredible 8-person kit for $65 net wholesale for the retailer group to be able to host a beautiful play experience for everyone. I'm going to remind everyone, nothing in here is for sale. So you have to play to win any of these. And if anybody's caught selling them, they'll lose their opportunity to continue to have a direct account. So don't mess with me on the OP kit side. The OP kits are prize support, period.
In case it's not clear, High Asgard is the spear woman, and the guy with the blade is the quiet blade master.
And now I'll get the world event kit up for you, Stamo.
So here's the world event OP kit, designed for 12 players, contains 3 random previous OP kit minis, and a new one. Yep, it's Famine, the Prophet of Gluttony. 12 alternative command cards.
Wow, hold on, Stamo. We have to stop. I don't think people were paying attention. I think they were asleep or something happened. There was a glitch. They didn't hear what you said. Now, there we go. That's a little better, team, even if it is one of our own team members. Yeah, now we're cooking with gas. Let's go. Now you can go back to it, Stamo. Thank you.
12 alternative command cards, different from the ones contained in the in-store play kit. 3 objective markers, faction stickers, the beloved spoon, and informative leaflets.
That is a world event kit for 12 people. Because guess how many you have to have as a minimum to have a world event kit? 12 people. It's funny how that works.
So one thing that I do want to clarify is that the random miniatures are going to be pretty much an assortment. It's a random assortment of the miniatures that we have released to date in OP kits to give people who didn't have a chance to find them, to give them a chance to get their paws on them. And it's actually also going to include a, as of yet, never released Bellum Sorcerer as well. Because we sort of found the prototype floating around and we're like, yeah, put it in. You know, we're that organized that prototypes are just sort of found. In my defense, we tried to find it years ago and couldn't.
You shouldn't probably admit this stuff, Stavro. This is where you should probably be like, we are genius. We invented this on its own.
But that's what I'm talking about. We're genius, except not. We're human.
You never know what might come up when you dig too deep and too greedily.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, this is an exciting kit. These are exciting kits, I should say. I do hope that everybody who's on this call and does either run a store or is a Vanguard or wants to become a Vanguard, and this Stamo is your man to talk to, will really take advantage of this and start playing, because these are amazing prizes for people to win.
This is a paint and take kit, the new one. It contains a lovely new paper mat. I really love this design. Cute only painting a minute. 8 Wadroon Predators, 8 store activity cards, leaflets, and the table tent.
And this is, without a question, one of the best ways to get our miniatures into people's hands and at the same time give them a tremendous fun play experience in store. And painting is play, right? I mean, everything we do when you're doing this from a hobby perspective is playtime. So let's make sure that we are maximizing the amount of playtime with Conquest in the year ahead. We're making it accessible and fun and easy. So please do. We're super excited about that. And these are very, very affordable OP kits. And I'm going to say it one more time, not for resale. Orange Road, you can talk to us. We can work to try to get you an OP kit ahead, depending on how just before it is.
A shout out to
You
our
can organize
wonderful
another one.
friends, Vanguard.
And you can also organize another one too. That's right.
Yeah. A shout out to our wonderful friends, Vanguards. They are organizing the first international Conquest team tournament. It's a 3-player team tournament in Bezons, the outskirts of Paris, in France. It will take place in early March, the weekend of 8 and 9. The ticket includes meals for both days, and our team will be there. We will offer generous prize support, and you'll have the chance to meet our team members, play with fellow Conquest enthusiasts from all over the world, and overall, it's going to be a wonderful weekend.
And Samo, is it correct that I heard, and you tell me if I'm wrong, but I heard that the winner of the tournament gets to face off head-to-head in a kind of a pro-am against Yanni to see if he can kick his butt. Am I right about that? Or did I hear that incorrectly?
That's absolutely true. Yeah,
What?
and honestly, I hope that you kick Yanni's butt because he's kicking mine the whole
you
month
just say
now.
that. I'm trying to teach you. It's not butt kicking if I explain
Yanni,
why I
rolling
butt
ones
kick you.
is not skill that can be taught.
Guys, it's a nightmare.
I think somebody
can
needs
we
to waste
frame?
the dice.
Can we frame Yanis's quote is not a butt kicking if I explain you why? Can we frame this in the office?
I think there's a meme coming for sure. Meme incoming, I think, is definitely the rule. Yeah, no, we're super excited that this has been put together by our French Vanguard community. We hope you'll join them there. And we do have a number of things coming up as we kick off 2025 that I realize we're not quite in 2025 yet, but, it's coming fast. We have CanCon. That's coming up. Reese has put together an amazing group. I think it's the biggest. I don't know if Reese is on here because it is the middle of the night there. But if you are at Reese, you can certainly jump in. But I can say that I will be there as well. And we have a great tournament for CanCon and a tremendous mystery box for the attendees of CanCon. We have LVO coming right up. And Yanni, we have, is the TLAOK event sold out, the world event?
Almost. There are, I think, 4 tickets remaining. But our Vanguards there feel that it's going to happen.
4 tickets, count them, 4.
We're gonna
get moving.
Yeah, and we're going to have amazing 3D terrain, and it's going to look awesome and super. And, of course, the winner of the event is going to face me again at the end of it.
What? So
Yeah.
there's going to be Yanni butt kicking in LVO too?
Yeah, not the kind of the Vegas butt kicking, but yeah, on the table.
What happens in Vegas, Yanni,
It stays in
in
Vegas,
this case
yeah.
will not stay in Vegas.
And CanCon has sold just over half of its tickets. There's still plenty left. I'm always here, Daryl. It's only 6
I
a.m.
did
What are
not know
talking
you were
about?
there, Reese. So we've got a lot of stuff coming up. That's just January. Think about what February, and then we've got the March event in France. And I'm only saying stalling on February because I don't remember off the top of my head. So there's another example of not being completely polished. And then, of course, March in Adepticon, is coming up in Milwaukee. With the additional space, we have additional space for a larger tournament and a significant number of new learn to play tutorial events, a first blood event. We have, oh, thank you, Robert. Captain Con in New England, of course, right in my home market. How did I not remember the Captain Cons in February? Thank you very much for giving me the upside the head slap of CanCon's coming up really quick. So you'll see Hunter there. It's going to be exciting this winter. We've got a lot of stuff going on. So please join us. Any other community events, team, that you want to talk about before we head into some new stuff?
There's a team tournament coming in Poland in April as well, but we'll share more things down the line.
All right.
And I am apparently making it to the French tournament.
That's what I heard.
Yep,
Yes.
that'll be interesting.
And the Milwaukee tournament, as if I'm not mistaken, as well.
Yes, LVO
For
is
sure.
looking shaky, but Adepticon is a must.
Yeah, Milwaukee's going to be an exciting time. Obviously, new city, a whole new vibe. We will actually all have space to move around, maybe. We'll see. And if you're not from Milwaukee originally, or if you don't know much about Milwaukee, it is famous for beer. So, and cheese. That's not a bad combo when you think about it.
And Faction 9 will be there.
I was going to say, don't forget a new army. Yeah.
Oh, wait. Well, we're not talking about Faction 9 today. Some people came on here thinking we were going to talk about Faction 9. Oh, silly, silly people. So here we have, coming up this month, new terrain. This is the Nord's ship. How about that? How about them apples?
So basically, what you can see here is a ship in portage. So it's when they actually transport the ships overland. They literally used to. It was fascinating to research this. They would literally build sleds for them to make them easier to transfer overland. The ships themselves are 6 stands long, Leo, if I remember properly.
They are 2x4 and stands.
2x4, not 6. So sorry, not 2 plus 4, 2x4. Whoop, I can math. And they are one of the things in the Nord terrain pack.
Yeah, I'm working on it. What my
The idea is we wanted them like that so that you can explain why they happen to be on a battlefield, as well as, because somebody could be attacking the Nords as they vulnerably transport their vessels over land. Or, you could have your ships beached up against the edge. So then we have a casualty pile, a loot pile, and what's it called? There's a word for those. What are those obstructions called?
Palisades.
Palisades, thank you. Thank you very much. And some rough palisades, which will be useful to pretty much every battlefield. And this is for the Nord's side of the terrain. And then we have the Old Dominion side of the terrain. The idea here was to try to make the terrain as versatile as possible for all factions, not just the Nords. Giant ship aside, obviously. And then we have the Old Dominion. So
All right, guys, bring it down a little bit.
you will notice an overlap between the Old Dominion.
Too much.
Between the Old Dominion and the city-states. That's because the Old Dominion were the precursors to the city-states. The architecture hasn't changed that much, but you will notice is that there are no technological gimmicks to the Old Dominion terrain, which sets it apart. So you've got, older, crunchier, let's call them construction methods You've got mausoleum, you've got a shrine. And the idea is all of this is terrain. Because one of the curious things about the Old Dominion is that in the absence of basically anything alive, the state of decay within the area of Capitas and the Old Dominion as a whole decreases exponentially the closer you get to Capitas, right? Because the closer you are to the pyre, just there are no living things. So in the absence of bugs, in the absence of bacteria, in the absence of microbiota, basically, things don't break down, right? Wood doesn't, it just dries out. That's it. But it doesn't, what's the word? There's a word. I'll get the word.
Road.
Rot, mold.
There we go, rot. Thank you. It doesn't rot. So a lot of the structures remain remarkably intact. And we wanted to depict this in the miniatures that we did. So what you end up with a lot in the Old Dominion is desiccation, but very little rot.
All right. That's the terrain that's coming up for the Nords versus Old Dominion lore campaign, which also shipping this month. It's en route to people. The STLs will be available online. Tassos, tell us when? Tasso?
Sorry, next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. There you go. So the STLs will be available for download just as you're starting to see the new lore campaign packs hit stores. And a reminder for everybody on the call that we decided in the holiday spirit that we would not have a release date this month. It is going to be just when people get them, they can sell the December items because it feels like the right thing to do. And so we're doing it. There you go. The December items can go right away. So next up for today's presentation, Evan is going to talk about some of the updates to First Blood. And Evan, take it away.
Hi, everyone. This is Evan with some update for First Blood. So some of these updates have been teased a few times before in the past, and we're sort of happy to introduce that we have sort of basically done with the update. So the first big update that we're going to show is the retinue rework. So a little bit of things about the retinue is that we're trying to aim more of a streamlining and rebalance with the current retinue system. So a lot of the things that you're seeing basically today in retinue is basically going to be changed when the update comes out. So now retinue models come from the troops that are automatically tied to the character rather than a separate model pool. So they're going to be using existing models that you already have that will be a bit more thematic to the characters. So this allows us to create some sort of more stories within the character themselves to give you a little bit more of like, oh, the certain characters work best with this certain kind of retinue. They work better in the story. They work better in the way that their gameplays are. An example and a little bit of preview of what this new retinue system is going to be is that the Thieves Priest can bring Sicarii as a retinue option because thematically the Sicarii works with the Thieves Priest. And for example, also the Ferromancer can bring Force Grown Drone as a retinue option. So this allows us to expand basically from the existing retinue system that is sort of a bit more from an existing character pool. And now we can tie them thematically to the troops that they have in the army themselves. So this will be very exciting and this will be a very interesting update for you guys. The second one, and this one is a little bit more monstrous in terms of the update, is the monster rework. Now, let me put it to you from sort of like a perspective of a gameplay. Monsters project their full force regardless of wounds taken. So you see an Apex Predator with their full HP versus an Apex Predator, they only have 1 HP. They are the same in terms of their performance. They have the same numbers of attack. They have the same amount of abilities. And this creates a very large skew when we're talking about the monsters. Like you need to basically kill the monsters if you want them dead, instead of making them sort of become a force of their own. So what we seek to do in this update for monster is that we are introducing a second profile to monster to represent the mounting injury that the monster suffers. Now, this allows us to better position a monster so that while they're still very, very powerful in terms of their models, they will decrease in efficiency as their wounds is decreased. This also allows us for some more thematic ability to come into place. Not only that they're weakened necessarily, but we can also introduce perhaps a second aspect to the monster themselves. For example, and what we're going to be previewing in a bit, some monsters can potentially have a larger but inaccurate attack profile. It shows them becoming more frenzy, more sort of like wildly flinging around to represent their frenzy ability. In fact, as a matter of fact, we have two monsters that we're going to show you to showcase this sort of like decreasing profile in mind. So here we have two monsters. The first one is Mountain Jotnar, and the second one is Apex Predator. As you can see in the Mountain Jotnar, on the left, we have the normal profile, which is the top profile, and then we have the wounded profile. As you can see, the first profile have 12 attacks, the same stats profile as the ones you're seeing right now in the app, while the second one, they have a larger amount of attack, but with reduced accuracy on their clash, as well as a reduced defense. Again, to represent their mounting injuries and sort of like reverting them back to like their sort of nature to just wildly fling around and deal as much damage as possible. The second one that we're going to showcase today is the Apex Predator. Again, same story with the monster decreasing profile. As you can see, the movement slightly different to represent them slightly limping from the damage that they've taken. Their attacks have also become reduced, again, because to represent their amounts of damage that they took. And as you can see also, in the special rules and in Wounded, there could also be potentially different rules that we have to when they are wounded. So some monsters can even gain ability or they can lose ability. And this is something that is going to be interesting for all monsters. And it will bring us closer to basically a more, I would say, streamlined and balanced version of the game. I am looking at some of the questions. I think Leo has answered the one. Yep. So yes, that's the two major updates that we have for First Blood, and this will all be updated in January.
Why don't you answer? We can answer some of the questions live. Like, is Wounded strictly a First Blood mechanic, Evan?
I don't know. Yes. Leaving that to Leo.
For now, yes.
For now, yes. Yeah. There are no plans currently for TLAK.
Yep. There is a precedence. On the multiple. So hold on. How much? So the way that the wounds work is that, for example, when a monster takes, when they have, for example, 3 wounds left, and then they take 6, so 3 will go to the first profile, and then the 3 will continue on to the second profile. So they're going to essentially continue as if there's still one big profile, and then they will take the resolve test using the second profile. And Liam, is every monster in the range going to be playable with this update? Correct. Well, so every monster that is currently in existence in First Blood will be changed using this new profile. Are those real points for the monster? Yes. So those 2 that you're seeing right now is exactly the point cost that they have right now in the app. We aim not to change their point cost for now. We're simply adding a second profile to better put them in a better position.
And as usual, until the update is out, we reserve the right to change these if we notice. I mean, they have been heavily play tested, but sometimes stuff comes up. So please, this is not the word of God. These numbers can change. This is not a 100% precise update. I'm saying this also for the reveals that I will be making. We reserve the right to change it until January when they're posted.
Yep. So again, thank you for clarifying that. This is a preview, but we tried to best to basically make them to the real state if possible. But again, if anything pops up between today and January, we reserve the right to change them. And yep, I believe that is the update from me. Leaving it back to Daryl. Thank you.
Thank you,
Roger,
Evan.
will there also be points adjustments and balance updates overall to First Blood?
There will be several balance updates that we're considering right now. We have, especially, I think it's more of right now, what we're looking at is there is a pool of models that are currently, let's just say, underplayed. So we're planning to bring them sort of like into a more, in the shift of the needle goes from like the left side into like slightly towards the middle, because right now we have a few models that are considered, overplayed. So we're trying to bring them all into like a nice little middle square, but of course there will be stragglers along the way. So that's sort of like the aim of what we are trying to have for the January update.
And yes, to answer Joey's question from Twitch, it will go live in January. Is Fallen Divinity coming to First Blood, Evan?
It is currently being tested, is all I can say.
All right. Any other questions for First Blood before we move on to we're gonna share a couple. We're gonna call this story time with Stavro.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure we're clarifying, because there seem to be some questions that the profile, the way it works is that there's 9 wounds on the full profile and then 9 on the secondary. You lose the first 9, and then you get to the second profile, which also has 9 wounds. There seemed to be some discussion about that in the chat.
Yep, that is correct, Hunter. So so essentially in total, the monster has 18 wounds. It's just separated into 2 profiles.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. I was just clarifying that, make sure nobody was confused.
So we're going to move to the next topic, I should say. Chapter, I guess, as well. Chapter of the happy hour, which is to talk a little bit about the alternate art cards. Some of you have seen that we have been doing some posts about the Army support packs that are coming out now. And every single card in the Army support packs this year for all 8 factions are alternative art. The art, the way we maybe originally imagined them, or at a point in time in which we imagined them. So Stavro is going to give us a couple stories about how we got to where they are on the screen and where they are when you see them in a little bit in this case.
So the Sicari, we chose this particular iteration of them to give you something that was middle of the line. You'll see that they are close, but still quite far from the vinyl version of the Sicari. Originally, the Sicari were meant to be like these fanatical devotees, almost flagellants, who were, last-ditch defenders of the priesthood. And they were much closer to zealots or flagellants than they were to a trained troop. As we developed the story of the Theist Temple and their Theist Church, and their and their political manipulation and political plays, the Sicari started evolving away from those roots into something much more organized and much more scary and trained and dangerous. Here we overshot our mark, where they were a little bit too ceremonial for what we had in mind. So I felt that it was a worthwhile inclusion, because they're still close to the card. You will not get confused, but at the same time far enough away, and they present a middle transition. Because now they're actually trained troops. They are the closest you would have to the original, let's call them Templars in that. But they're sort of fantasy in some way. They are taken as orphans from youth. They are trained in secluded monasteries to be fanatical and terrifying. And again, the whole thing of not having armor because that's not allowed under the laws of the empire as a standing force for the church remains. It's just that we wanted to make them more structured, more lean. And then you've got the fanaticism as shown by the cowls, by the red dress. Plus, who doesn't love a little bit, the Imperial Guard from Star Wars. So we're channeling a few vibes from there as well. I don't even know if they're the Royal Guard, Royal Imperial Guard, whatever the hell they were called. But yeah, that's why we chose that particular Sicari version to show and not an earlier one, which would have been farther away.
All right, thank you, Sarah. And we'll do one more, and then we'll go to other things. But I wanted to give everybody a little tease of how we got both to where we are and how we started, because I think when you see them side by side, it's really cool to see the transition. Let's see. Now, the next one we're going to do is the Dweg, because we haven't shown a lot of Dweg stuff today. I really should put this one on the side, so hold on, let me do that.
This is the very first Hellbringer Drake. The very, very first ideation for a Hellbringer Drake. You note, if you've also been following our Facebook, you will also have seen the Inferno Automata, right? And you can start seeing that the Dwegom had originally a much more comic character. And this Drake tied into that particular. It was later, as we literally wrote their story, because I'm sure, if you guys have read people, writing gets away from you. You've got an idea and you're going in a direction, and then suddenly that direction starts veering. And before we knew it, our comic little dwarves were, xenocidial maniacs, and we had to adapt the art to them. So again, you'll see the similarities. You'll see the thrown harpoons. You'll see the sort of the howdah and the structure, but you also see a significant change in the dragon, his more comic outlook, his more friendly, let's say, demeanor and outlook than our current little xenocidal maniacs.
I personally remember when back then the Drake was transport, and they would carry warriors. Warriors on his back. Like people, there are still rule books out there printed that have the transport special rule from the from the Drake. Yeah,
the original 2-player starter had transport in it.
Yep. So that's a big change to our current Hellbringer.
So I think, one of the things that comes up quite a bit is, Stavros, the post that we've done, and where will that reside? We're working on something on our website. Stay tuned for that, but I think it's a very, very good question. And we love that you're asking it, because it means that you care.
Or what in particular did I miss?
People are asking where they can get the stories of the original that we have posted on Facebook. In some cases, will they reside somewhere either through the QR code or in the Army support pack? And at the moment, no. Follow us on Facebook to see them all. But on the flip side, we are appreciating that you want it.
Yeah, I can. I was about to say I could probably put them on Facebook, but it's a lot of cards, and I have a lot of writing.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones that we have written,
I was ready to jump in. So you know.
I have a shit ton of writing. I have a distressing amount. Why did you guys remind me about how much writing I have? Leo, don't chuckle. Leo, I mean, coach, don't chuckle.
What? I like writing. Give me more.
So now we're going to turn it over to Leo, who is going to talk a bit about the 100 Kingdom plans for January.
before that, actually, before we get there, and I will let
so I get rid of that?
Stavro.
Yeah, Leo's
Yes,
letting me mangle the
yeah,
rules this time,
yeah.
Daryl.
Yeah, no, Stavros absolutely should go into 100 Kingdoms. But before that, we do have a few announcements when it comes to rules. Now, we've been getting a lot of feedback and we've been hearing from you, and we have been receiving a lot of feedback, not only when it comes to game design and feedback, and we all know that there is a lot of feedback there, but there has always been quite a few things about, let's say, the process and how quickly and the schedule with which we were releasing rules. And so coming with the new year, we're making some very important changes in the way that we're approaching rules updates. And we believe that you're going to be very excited for it, and we're very excited to share. So let's go through it. First of all, we want to announce that, first of all, we're building a new rules contact form, which will be the main sole and specific, let's say, pipeline for all sort of rules, answers, and questions that you have for us. Now, that is incredibly important because we are moving into a bi-weekly update of our FAQ. What does that mean? So every time you have a question about the rules, and of course, if it's a simple question that we can help you and guide you through it, you get your answer very quickly. That's as we always do. But when there are rules questions that are more involved, that perhaps they warrant being added to the FAQ, they require a little bit. Maybe your question really points out that there's something that we have omitted in the past and that we have to add into our rules text. You will be able to get an answer twice a month through our official FAQ. So our FAQ now changes and is restructured to be your official point of contact for all important rules questions. No longer do you have to chase after screenshots or having to go through Discord. None of that. Essentially, you ask a question and we will politely delay the answer until the FAQ is updated, and you will be able to find the question there. Always, our website will be the one and most updated source of frequently asked questions and their answers. Which takes me to my second point. Discord now there strictly becomes, let's say, the place where you, players, community, everybody can go in and discuss, of course, the rules, as it always has been, but we will not be providing official answers through Discord. Nothing that has not been first posted in our official FAQ will ever be found anywhere else. So you will be able to know specifically if something is in the FAQ, you will be able to see it there. And that's very important for tournaments, for events. Always, 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 I will keep saying it, FAQ on our website, the most important place for you to see everything. But that's not all. The other thing has to do with our schedule for rules updates. So far, we've been updating the rules quite often.
Before you jump to that, Leo, because that is super important, but there a lot of people are making notes about the Discord change. And I want to re-emphasize that, yes, we will show up from time to time on Discord to chat, but we're not going to be answering on Discord anymore. I think that's really important that we signal that answers are going to come on the FAQ page and only the FAQ page with that bi-weekly update, not a on-the-fly notice. So it's super important that people realize, like, hey, don't go to Discord, ping Leo, and expect an immediate answer. That's not what we're doing.
Yes, that is absolutely right. That is absolutely right. So moving on, as I was saying, to the next very important topic, and this really has to do with...
One thing I wanted to clarify, I'm not sure, Leo, sorry if I missed it, regarding a rules question. So when Leo answers a rules question through the rules form, he will not answer you directly, because what ends up happening then is that is immediately posted on Discord, and suddenly Discord would be slightly ahead of our FAQ. So Leo will send you an email that says, thank you, well received, will be answered at the next update. Just so we're absolutely clear. And no, Jarek, no more Leo True Lore.
Oh, that opens up so much more time for this. We'll get to the true reveals of this happy hour later. Now, so as we have absolutely covered that, no more answers through Discord, everything, all the important things, all the things that require ruling through our FAQ. Another incredibly important point when it comes to the rules updates. Now, so far we've been very, let's say, liberal with the way that we've been updating the rules. New things were coming out. We want to make sure that you have a constant stream of information, but we do absolutely understand and respect that this can get very daunting very quickly. There's a lot of updates. There's a lot of new information coming in, and sometimes the information that is coming in updates might often feel that you have, let's say, changes to your faction quite quickly. You might be feeling that you haven't played in a while, suddenly changes are too big and you have to relearn certain things. We want to restructure this part in a way that this doesn't happen anymore. So coming with the new year, we have set 3 times a year, that is January, April, and August, that you should be expecting rules updates. Now, apart from the fact that you will know when you're expecting rules updates, you will find that every rules update will have, let's say, a sort of theme behind it. So let's say when it comes to core and structural changes to the core rules, you should be expecting, let's say, these more akin to once a year. We're not looking at updating the game in a level in which you will, changes that will permeate throughout all factions very often. We want to make sure that we keep it as stable as possible. Then when we have faction reworks or let's say major rebalances of a faction, that update will make sure that it is contained in that faction and only necessary minor tweaks will be happening to other factions. We want to make sure that we keep your playstyle, your gameplay, your army list as stable as possible and as consistent as possible, so you don't feel outside of the loop every time you're coming back and want to play after a while. That's incredibly important for us. And then finally, apart from the really cool things that Stavros is going to talk right now, which is there's a lot of meat there and all of the great changes that Evandra has explained to us for First Blood, I also want you to know that in January, we're going to be looking at some things that you've been asking for regarding terrain. So we're looking about a comprehensive guide and suggestions on what kind of keywords do we recommend you using when it comes to terrain. How many pieces of terrain, example layouts of those setups for you to be able to, if you're unsure how to approach setting up your table and how to set up your terrain, so you are able to do so and you have great suggestions from us and how we approach setting up the table. And now, without further ado, I think, Stavro, all yours.
Okay. So
before we present, Joshua has a question I want to make sure we get to, and in case other people have questions about the schedule or the Discord, I want to give people a chance before we jump into 100 Kingdoms, which is super important in itself. But Joshua, you had a question? Joshua? Made his hand up. Okay.
Yeah. I see some people worried that we might become more distant. We won't, guys. You will still be able to approach us. You can still use the Discord, and we will still be on the Discord. We are just going to be very disciplined about answering points on the Discord and saying that, if there's a good point that comes up, it will be in the nearest update in FAQ. Because it was creating a lot of confusion for a lot of people. So to repeat, we are still going to be as active as we were on the Discord. It is still the biggest source of information for us on the condition of our game, on the clarity of the rules, and on the state of our balance. It's just that we're going to be much more disciplined when we communicate, that everybody receives the communication in a formal, collected, and clear way.
We don't want anyone to walk away with, and look, we're still humans, right? We're still people. We are error prone because we are, again, humans and not AI bots making this game. right? So that let's be very clear about that. We are humans who still make mistakes, and there are a few of us now on this team. It is not just Leo, not just me, not just Stamo, not just one of us answering questions. And we want to make sure that we answer questions uniformly and consistently to you as a team, not as an individual. That's super important to us. Does that make sense? Hopefully. Yes, the fish gnomes do sometimes get involved in our Discord as well, and that has created some chaos for us from time to time, as people have pointed out to us, those damn fish gnomes. So let's just wanted to make sure that we were super clear with that before we now go to the previously discussed 100 Kingdoms updates, which will be coming in January, as we just noted, a January schedule of updates. Stavro, I'll head you off with number one.
Okay, so
I'll try to make it bigger.
at the heart of the rework of the 100 Kingdoms, what we wanted to bring was something that felt closer to the way the 100 Kingdoms work. Dynastic alliances got hinted at it, but it didn't truly encapsulate it. So now there are going to be some changes. What you are effectively going to see is that the 100 Kingdoms, the 4 sub-factions, are going to be represented by sub-faction special rules. And when you create your army, you are going to pick a mix of these sub-faction special rules that you want to play. And the ones that you have available are the feudal, imperial, orders, and, oh my God, this is not something I should forget.
Yes.
Thank you. Oh, dear God. I put that down to nerves. These special rules are going to come in with the dynastic alliances. Before, dynastic alliances gave you a second supremacy. Now it gives you a second supremacy plus a set of sub-faction special rules that you're going to get to mix. And each sub-faction is going to be specialized in what they are best at. So all of the sub-factions mix, except for 2. Those of you who know 100 Kingdoms lore know that the Orders and the Theist Church do not get along. So as you can see there, the Red Years, or the memory of the Red Years, is the rule that excludes a Theist and Order dynastic alliance. Okay, so if we move forward to the next, for some reason I'm seeing the Reese, but not Daryl. Not that I object to you there, Reese. It's just that
there's number 2. Sir.
Here you can see subfaction rules which represent each different faction. So here you have rapid deployment for the Imperial, which is basically for 2 Imperial infantry units, right? These are going to be Steel Legion, Gilded Legion, men-at-arms almost by definition. Yes, men-at-arms as well, crossbowmen. They are going to, up to 2 of them per turn, come onto the table with Vanguard. Now, you notice something different about Vanguard? Vanguard now has an X value. This is one of the changes coming in January. One of the issues that we struggled with Vanguard is that it was much more valuable on high movement models than low movement models. By making it an X rule, we can now tweak it specifically for particular units and particular abilities. So it's going to allow us to be much more specific and, in general, slow down the game to a certain degree, because there were some units that were running up the board a little bit too fast. I will put a parenthesis here, or I'll put an asterisk, and I'll get back to this. Daryl, could we go back a little bit? There was I still wanted to talk about some bits. One moment. So you will also notice that the 100 Kingdoms special rule is basically one further back.
Yep.
And after that one, can you put the orders? After the 100, after the feudal and imperial one. There we go. So the family traditions of the feudal, the first thing it does is give all the regiments in the warlord's warband gain veteran, right? Veteran is now much more versatile than it used to be. It is no longer a +1 clash or volley and +1 resolve. It changes drastically. It interacts with army special rules. Certain things will only key off veteran units, and some veteran units will have abilities that are completely separate from the original concept. For units that are in different warbands, you will, on most but not all, be able to buy veteran status for them for a small premium. Actually, a very modest premium. I keep on feeling it should be higher, but playtesters and Leo keep on bonking me on the head and telling me, no, that's fine. The other very interesting about the feudal army special rule is that whatever is feudal automatically takes on the keyword of your other faction. So if you've got, say, feudal and imperial, all your feudal units are also imperial. Therefore, they will benefit from the rapid deployment, right? If they're theist, they will also benefit from the keywords to the theist. If they're orders, they will also benefit from the order keywords, right? So feudal is like the perfect mixing pool of abilities. It blends beautifully with whatever other faction you want to bring into it, plus brings a little bit of kick on its own. So that way you're going to be able to merge, right? The feudal plus any one of the other factions. Now, could you show the orders?
Yep.
So here you can see the orders, which says that veteran units, the order command starts, and the order characters gain flurry. Right, this is to show the elite nature of the orders. But now think, it provides an orders contingent with significantly more bite. But now let's go back to feudal. Feudal troops automatically become order as well, meaning all veteran feudal troops and characters will gain this as well. Meaning that suddenly when you combine feudal and orders, fine, you lose the rapid deployment, but you gain flurry on your command stands, which will give you a significant bonus to your bite. In addition to, again, I repeat, don't forget, you also gain the supremacy, right? So, for example, the supremacy ability of the Imperial sub-faction, notice it's no longer tied to a particular character, rather a sub-faction, a member of that sub-faction being your warlord. Veteran infantry regiments may perform a free reform during their activation and gain the opportunist special rule. So this is all an attempt to show how well drilled the Imperial regiments are. So an Imperial officer suddenly brings in your infantry regiments faster. They have a free reform, not an additional free reform. So there's some nuance there. It's not quite as powerful as fluid formation. Who can move an extra 5 when they arrive and have a free reform and have opportunists. So if you're able to bring these guys in from the board edge, you're going to be threatening people from the board edge. You're going to move 5 more. And if you manage to bring them in from a flank, suddenly they're going to be quite scary. When you look at the feudal, on the other hand, you're going to see a combination of their old supremacy ability that was much loved, which was the reroll 6s. But now it's actually no, it was within a bubble before. It's the reroll 6s within a bubble around himself, always active, as mentioned before. Now, you will mention. You mentioned. I forgot to mention that the theists. The reason we haven't shown the theist special rule is because we noticed a gap in its wording and we want to reword it. But the theist will the theist special rules. First of all, will grant indomitable to your army. In other words, not indomitable. What's the one? The one that lets you discount the morale.
It's
That's
indomitable.
indomitable.
You're right. Yeah.
It is indomitable. I was right. Sorry. And it will also give you the divine purpose, which grants +2 movement or to your first march, or +2 to your charge, under specific effects, such as when you're affected by a theist spell, when you're close to characters, when you are close to the Archangel. So it's going to be all about, your zealous troops rushing forward and coming to grips with the opponent and being more resistant to morale casualties. Could we skip forward, Daryl?
Yep. I was just waiting for the pause that usually tells me you're ready to go.
Yeah. So a very
Do you
important
want to
question.
show the Imperial Rangers, or do you want to go right to the?
No, we can do the Imperial Rangers. So I can show the effect of veterans, for example, on them.
They're there.
So here you've got your Imperial Rangers, standard stats as you come to expect them. Fluid formation, Vanguard, Barrage at 3 at 16 inches. But then you see something new. Advanced Scout training. Should this regiment have the veteran battlefield role, it will always count as obscured against enemy volley actions. Right? So suddenly this is a new ability that they always have on account of being veteran. It's a way to bump up their stats and make them slightly cooler. There's going to be a number of these abilities scattered throughout the effect, throughout the army, making your units stand out and significantly more effective. You notice that it's a one-time, it's not per stand what you pay, it's once for the whole regiment. For example, you will see that, Daryl, we have a few more of these units, don't we?
Oh yeah, we do. Yep. Come right up.
Okay. So here you see the mercenary crossbowmen. Again, you can make them veteran, 20 points up. Starts getting pricey. But when they shoot at a target within effective range, they have +1 volley, right? And if you're familiar with what the Imperial officer can do, which is give a unit murderous volley, suddenly, if those vanguarding crossbowmen who have a free reform manage to get on your flank, they are terrifying when combined with an Imperial officer giving them the murderous volley rule. So, we're opening up a lot of playstyles. I see a lot of people saying nerf Ashen Dawn. No, what we want to do is bring the entire army up to the level of the Ashen Dawn, because they performed well, they're scary. But what was the real issue is that people were only playing Ashen Dawn. We don't want to nerf the Ashen Dawn. We want to bring the entire army so that Ashen Dawn are one of the things you can bring, but not the only effective army that you can do. So here you can see the two Warlord abilities available, slightly out of order, apologies guys. The two Warlord abilities for the Theist and Order subfaction. So the Orders gain hardened and +1 attack for 1 round, which is bloody terrifying. Again, remember, you're going to be combining this with your feudal. If you have a feudal, then also your feudal guys gain attacks and hardened. And then the spirit shines. The theist priest may immediately perform one additional out-of-sequence spellcasting action. This spell is automatically successful, and he scores the necessary amount of successes. In addition, should he succeed at casting a spell, that guess what? We just said that one spell is automatic and guaranteed. All units on the battlefield have that effect. So suddenly, basically, he bathes the entire battlefield in basically golden light and divinity, and they all go ape, essentially. All your theist regiments are going to get the spell that he cast on that one unit. I don't think I need to explain how ridiculous this gets with certain abilities that they have. So the theists are going to be incredibly swingy and punchy as a faction. And so here we start with the first character of the theist, the first new character, the Crusading Noble Lord. And I don't want to step onto Constantino and Dimitris's toes. So I'm not going to reveal too much of the lore, but suffice to say that with all the shenanigans going on within the theist church that lead to the Archangels and to the Crusades, they weren't as neat as historically we have been, which was launching one crusade. No. They launched multiple crusades at the same time, basically wreaking havoc. And the Crusading Noble Lord can basically ascribe to any one of those crusades and grant I see what you did there, Leo. You're a bad man. He hit it. You guys can't see exactly what it is. And basically, he takes on the mantle of a particular crusade, and then his bonuses are going to be propagated through his warband, through his regiment, or just to himself, depending on what the ability is, which Leo has chosen to hide. Now, in addition, everybody becomes theist, obviously, within the character's warband, because you'll notice he has access to household guard, he has access to militia bowmen, and men-at-arms, which normally don't have the theist keyword. He also has household knights and longbowmen. And he gives them Indomitable +1. So suddenly that Indomitable that you got before gets bumped up one more. So now you're talking about Indomitable 2. There are ways to increase it even further. Suddenly Indomitable 3, and it becomes very, very hard to cause morale. The 100 kingdom, the theist 100 kingdoms are going to be harder to shift. Maybe not necessarily to kill, but definitely to make them run away in their rabid fanaticism. No, you can have as many Crusading Noble Lords as you want, but usually you will pair a Crusading Noble Lord with a priest, his chaplain, because while the Crusading Lords are technically not church troops, Daryl, could we do this guy last?
Oh, well.
I'd like to do the Sicari and the Crusaders if we can.
All right.
So I see a lot of people saying, wait a second, what happened to my support? Did we lose our... It was Relentless Drill, right, Leo?
That is correct.
Yeah.
And don't worry, you're not losing it.
Voila. Witness, the Crusaders. What do you see there? Support 2. So you start seeing that the Crusaders, for example, in many infantry units, are going to have the extra support baked into their stat line now, because that's just how humans fight. So we wanted to represent that way. So that is a big that is another change that is being added to the 100 Kingdoms. So if you look at the Crusaders, you will notice that they're very close to men-at-arms, except for the fact that they're theist. Oh, and when they're veterans, every roll of a 1 pretty much ignores armor.
Men at arms.
Oh, yeah. Daryl's
That's
doing
not a man at arms. What could that be?
Somebody
I've seen
said show
plenty of
some
men-at-arms.
pictures.
I've seen plenty of men at arms. None of mine have ever looked like that.
No, they haven't.
No, they haven't, guys. It is a very, very, very happy moment for me to finally be able to show basically what we can do and what we were always capable. We just didn't know.
All
So
the new toys. We have more rules things too, but I'll start.
yeah, we have more
intermingling
rules
some
things, but
pictures.
we're going to show off the Men-at-Arms and the Crusaders right now, guys. There's going to be a
It
few
feels like the
moments.
right time to do it.
Can
Yeah.
that be a public compliment to both Leo and Stavro?
Oh, boy.
Go for it.
Do they owe
Go
you
for it.
money?
I've got him on the
No,
mute
no, they
button.
don't.
You're allowed.
This
Yes.
is the most lore accurate and narrative update we've ever had. This update makes me very happy in the rules. That's all I wanted to say. It is exactly how we envisioned lore-wise the 100 Kingdoms to work, and now I see it there. It's beautiful. That's all. I'm out.
No, you're beautiful.
Well, that is true, but
I have
And
no
it
idea
got
what's
weird.
happening now.
So here we go, guys. Yeah. I'm just very happy with the new Men-at-Arms. I'm not even going to hide it. I am very, very proud of them. So yeah, I'm just going to be quiet and let you enjoy.
I have more pictures. Don't worry. Here's the whole unit. Oop, should be showing up there. Is it not? What is going on? There it goes. I think. What's going on with my screen here? Can you see them now or no?
No, there's nothing up there, Daryl.
All right, hold on. Something went funky. Try again. There we go. That's the whole unit of the Men-at-Arms. And then here come the Crusaders. Yeah, we're never sure, John, exactly what order we're going to do things in, so PowerPoint wouldn't really make it easier. This is a bit more, it's a happy hour.
It's more free, more chaotic.
Yeah, we're not wanting you guys, I mean, for anybody who does a quote unquote, oh, you're a PowerPoint engineer. Fair enough. All right. I get it. Maybe we'll use something else. I don't know. We want this to be very free form. And you're not wrong about that, by the way. Evans was much easier to present because it wasn't PowerPoint. So, but we tend to make this a bit more, as things come up, we go, right? And I also do a ton of PowerPoints for work too, for this work, for a lot of presentations. And it's nice to not once in a while. So there's your Crusaders unit. These are a dual kit. I like that. Just put the PowerPoint on random and let us see where
They
it
are a
takes
dual kit with the new Men-at-Arms. So the new Men-at-Arms will allow you to also make Crusaders. So you can see with the Crusaders, we went for not swords. Hunter, are you happy?
I was about to say
No.
we ran out of sword designs, and eventually.
I am happy. I love this.
Oh, I think they look gorgeous. Yeah, this is why I don't want swords in everybody. You can do awesome stuff like that.
The cloth recipe. I don't even know. Does that mean the painting?
Or the painting, yeah.
The painting guide?
I'll have them posted online.
All right, so there's your Crusaders and your Men-at-Arms. So what slide rules do you want to go back to now? Savro, want to go to Sakari?
Should we go to Sakari? Leo, did I skip something? Did I forget something? Let me check my notes. I have a cheat sheet.
Oh no! Let me see the.
Oh, we didn't show Crusade. Did we show Crusade? Yeah, we did show Crusade.
We did. Sikari's next. You're on track. And then we left something. We left a very special character for the end. So, Sikari is indeed next.
There's your Sakari rule sheet, kids. And guess what I'll be putting up next? For those of you who are wondering, yes, it's pictures.
I was worried they didn't show up to picture day.
I already teased those anyways. You already saw them if you were paying attention.
Do you mind if I make a quick comment for a question that I just got about the watermarks? You're gonna notice it's actually not just decorative. It's there to reflect, like you've seen before in the Wood Rune, the Norse, to reflect the subfaction that the regiment belongs to. So it's an easy additional quick identifier for you to know whose works with who. And Divine Purpose is a very special rule. Very special rule.
If you were listening, I actually said what it does. But now I will keep it quiet, ruthlessly quiet, and not say what they do. Okay, show them the miniatures before we get conniptions. Oh, somebody was paying attention. So here are the new Sikari, guys. They look pretty good. Also very proud of these guys.
I want to make I just want to make a comment, like something that I really loved when looking at the models. You notice how their face kind of like sews underneath the robes. This isn't just our painters painting incredibly beautifully, but the texture is there. You will see it. It's there for you to see these shades and actually follow them and create these just beautiful patterns. I just love the models.
Yeah. Evasion 2, Cleave 1. Very, very little to not like about these guys, especially when combined with all the other rules, buffs that they get within the Theist Creed.
And
the ability to have divine purpose, sort of, they have it separate of the army. Oh, look at that. That's a crusading noble lord. Just chilling there, angry as usual. So you'll be able to splash them into an army with a Theist priest, even if you're not using the Theist subfaction, because they will key off his abilities. It's pretty cool. Shields, he doesn't believe in shields. Shields are for the weak.
His faith is his shield. What are you talking about?
There you go.
You beat me to it, Constantino.
I mean,
I think we went off this one quite quickly. We switched, so I want to give everybody a chance to see the army builder for him.
You do also notice he has Cleave 2 and Flurry sort of baked in, right? Just saying.
The Crusader Lord is resin.
Yes, unfortunately. We ran out of time to get him plastic. I'm trying to move away from plastic characters as much as possible, guys. As much as humanly possible.
You want to go to more plastic characters. You said it backwards.
Move away from resin. Yes, sorry.
Yes, yeah. I just wanted to make sure everybody didn't hear that and go, wait, what? More plastic characters is what we're going for.
Yeah.
So we have one more thing to show. We'll start with the rules of the one more thing, right? Yes. Hello?
The rules of the one more thing, yes. Because we knew we would get punched in the face if we didn't reveal it. Voila, the Archangel. So
And yes, we have pictures. Don't worry.
we do also have pictures of the Archangel. So the Archangel comes basically in two variations. The aspect as an aspect of the Avenger, or an aspect of the Redeemer. So you look at his stat line, he's a decent beat stick, solid impacts, fearless, terrifying, divine purpose, it's right there. Movement 7, cleave 2, 12 attacks. Okay. His real power, though, comes from either A, marshaling the faith to become an absolutely unstoppable beat stick, or and when you choose to do this, you can use his Flames of Vengeance ability, which essentially guarantees you a 12-inch charge.
It casts fist, essentially. It casts fist, essentially. It's like, dodge this.
Literally, it jumps up and on wings of fire descends upon an enemy unit and beats the ever-living snot out of it, causing 7 hits with a smite special rule, which, bypasses armor. Now, this action has to be the first action, and once it's performed, its activation immediately ends. This is a rule-specific way of saying this is a 2-activation action. This is a full activation action that requires all of your actions to be ready to be able to perform it. This was to prevent certain weird combinations that could be done when you stretch things that shouldn't be stretched. But effectively, take its entire round to charge a unit, descend on it like a ball of flaming wrath, and pummel it into the ground with no armor allowed. It's going to be a fantastic opening blow on something that's already activated, or a tremendous finishing blow when you just want to guarantee those wounds to finish something off. The aspect on the Redeemer, on the other hand, step 1, gain shield. Step 2, all Theist infantry regiments, remember Theist can also spill over into feudal regiments now, and that Theist regiments are now harder to kill because of Indomitable, right? Let's not forget those little details. They all now gain regeneration X when near the Archangel, where X is equal to half the number of successful hits, not wounds, hits, that it has caused, to a maximum of 5, because we felt that if somebody got lucky and suddenly people are sitting there replenishing 3 stands in one go, it might get, 2 stands in one go, it might be hideous. So yeah, basically you get an Archangel. You pick offensive or defensive. Well, not really defensive, offensive or inspirational, and you go ham with it. I hope you guys like it. We really like it.
We really like it. Before I show you it, I do want to share. You're going to shoot me now. Starter set.
Yeah.
The 100 Kingdoms that are coming in January. I'm such a jerk. I'm sorry.
I love you, Daryl, for what you did right now.
I think this is what would happen with a random PowerPoint. And before that, completely different. I think the happy hour shouldn't just have you should also have the coherency and the mental, we should all be having the mental capacity of the regular happy hour. During that, just random, what it's next, never know.
You never know.
You never know. So I realized I had not shown this, and we're super proud of this because 1, it works with the 5th anniversary starter set that you already had. 2, you save $60 when you buy it. So I will say this, essentially, yes, it is the place where the Men-at-Arms and the Crusaders are going to debut, but you buy this and you're essentially getting them for almost free, right? So that's our way of giving back to the community that, many, many people bought some Men-at-Arms in the past, and many, many people spent many, many hours putting them together. many more hours than probably they wish they had. And this is a bit of our way of giving back to the community. So this is $159, just like the last year's starters, no price increase. You're getting 2D terrain, you're getting a measuring tool, you're getting dice, and most importantly, you're getting the brand new sculpts of the Men-at-Arms, the Crusaders, the Sicarii. You're getting the new Crusader Noble Lord. You're getting a second Noble Lord character. So, I mean, there's a ton here. We're super excited to show you that. And now, if it is loaded, because I also had to stall because for whatever reason the Archangel was crashing my computer program and I couldn't get it to work. I'm like, damn it.
You don't believe enough, Daryl.
Here you go.
Here you go, guys.
Just kidding.
Aspect
It's a
of the
trebuchet.
Avenger. Just kidding, it's a trebuchet.
It transforms, throws swords.
It will come with alternate weaponry as well as alternate heads. Is one of those weapons a shield and a spear? Yeah. I don't know. Is that a spear, Stavro?
This is not the only. Huh?
I have more images. Don't worry.
No. I can't tell you exactly what the Archangel is without like spoiling what Dimitri and Kosadin are cooking up for you, but you will find out between now and January. There will be a sequence of stories posted on our.
Yes.
Con, talk about that. Let's go.
I think we're not going with a sequence. We're going to go with a full-blown release, sort of like a short story.
Oh, so it's one full-blown release. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yep. Because we don't want it to clash it with other cool stuff. That
I
we
know
wanna do.
things, people. I know things.
What we are going to tell you is how this Archangel came to be. And I really can't go into too much detail right now because there's a lot. But what I can say is maybe a little about the introduction, which is that I think we can all recognize that the Theist Church has been rather pressed since we began our narrative with Conquest. They have been cornered, they have been ignored, they have been even insulted without them being able to push back. And following that thread, we're going to see how we end up where we end up. That is the only tease I can give. Which isn't really a tease.
Go back to the
it's
image
just-
so I can point out certain things to people.
No, hold on. I'm going to just try to answer the how big is it question.
Oh, that's easy. You've got the photo for that.
That's why that's what I'm bringing up.
On a scale of 1 to banana,
Is
The
big.
answer is yes.
1.5 banana.
Also, the answer is it does have a spear and shield.
Yes.
I just couldn't get it to load as quickly as I wanted it to. There you go. That gives you some scale. You don't need a violin case. Unless you want to carry around a violin for your losing opponent because you're playing this.
Wow. Unless you explain to them.
You have to explain the joke, Leo. It's not a good joke.
It's okay.
I let it go. I just was like, all right, that didn't work. So that is the happy hour for today, kids. We've shown you all the stuffs. Thank you, Liam.
No! The rules for the Order of the Shield character.
Yes.
Oh, wait. You're right. You're right,
Nah.
Con. I forgot.
I mean, it's not a highlight after the Archangel, but he's my favorite model.
Because I think I started to believe that your compliment before was simply because of this.
No. I actually meant every word of it. Like,
no, it's
Really
Con's
nice.
D&D character.
It was based, yes. It was
Yeah.
based. The design was based on my favorite paladin.
There you go, buddy.
I was so disappointed when we designed it. We're like, no, it's not a character. It's just it's an officer. I was like, what? So now he's finally a character.
So, for those of you who don't know the lore, the Order of the Shield is basically the smallest order within the 100 Kingdoms. They used to be roving magistrates empowered by the imperial throne to enact low and high justice. That meant that they could try peasants and nobles alike. You can imagine that nobility did not like this. And so as soon as the emperor fell and the empire sort of fragmented, the Order of the Shield were hunted down pretty much everywhere, until only a very, very few remained carrying out. Oh, wait a second. Am I? Oh no, that's Daryl. No, you can hear me. Sorry, for a second.
Oh yeah, we can hear you fine.
Because I'm looking at Daryl's page, which has the mute button on. Weird. Anyway, so now, and before we used to have them as an officer within the. We used to have them as an officer within the within the 100 Kingdoms. Now they're a character unto themselves. You will see that they can basically they have militia bowmen, and men at arms, because basically what they do is rove the countryside and look for injustice and try to address it. They try to use the laws and the courts where they can, but guess what? Very often, in particular when trying to establish high justice, they're not allowed to. In fact, not only are they not allowed to, you're very often, people try to kill them. So as a result, they have their friends. Their friends in the Crimson Tower, in the Sealed Temple of the Sword of St. Lazarus, and, some in the Ashen Dawn. And their friends right over to help them. So now you're going to have a new way of unlocking order, the high orders, let's call them Order of the Ashen Dawn, Crimson Tower, Sealed Temple, Sword, and St. Lazarus, from militia and from militia bowmen and men at arms. So you can start playing around with new types of games where you actually have a flood of troops and some really rock hard regiments between them, or just a cheaper way of activating your order and therefore bringing more, let's say, Imperials or more feudals who all benefit from it. As you can see, up in arms, he can bring an extra mainstay regiment for a total of 5 regiments in total. He gives his unit fearless, and whenever a friendly a friendly cavalry order regiment, notice that again, if you combine this with feudal, any feudal or order regiment, they will automatically rally and gain inspired. So they're going to be hard to beat down and keep down. They're the underdog that just keeps on coming. We do have a little bit of an issue in making sure that you guys get access to his command card, because he didn't have a command
all
card.
My fun stuff. I was going to talk about that next.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. You can keep going.
So, messy solution number 1 is we're going to put it on our website. You can print it, cut it out, and put it in. But we're also going to be making it physically available at retailers. So you guys can just pick one up.
Yep. So if you already own one, don't worry. We'll add your card.
Yeah.
There'll be a little more love for that.
And we are re-releasing it where we'll have the card in the new box as well.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, yes. That's pretty sensible. Then again, we don't do very many sensible things.
It was an accident.
He did not get a card in the New Wave pack because that happened before these changes were made. So that will not be, he will not be in the Army Support pack. And he doesn't have alternate art because he was never originally a character. So we also don't have alt art for him because he has art. He has one art. So he is not part of that.
So Daryl, people are asking about an elephant. Do you have an elephant art? Because I want to ask people something.
Do I have elephant art? We've gone through the alt art support pack so quickly that I felt like people were wanting us to move on to new things, so I just skipped. Sorry.
No, faction 9. 9 to faction 9.
I don't know what they're talking about.
Why are you teasing him that Faction 9's German, man? You're going to scare him.
January 9th is the date for Faction 9. That's the way that works. You think it's coincidental that it was January 9th for Faction 9?
Look, there. I'm not gonna lie. It feels like it is January 9 because it falls on a Tuesday, on a Thursday.
Leo,
I didn't want to call on you. Call you.
Leo,
We made it this way.
We planned it years ago.
Yeah.
Leo. I set the Gregorian calendar in place thousands of years ago to make sure that Faction 9 would come on January 9th. Don't mess with it.
Daryl is Pontifex Maximus confirmed.
So what you guys are seeing is one of those sensible things that we do, right? Very sensible things that we do. I don't know if you guys can tell the scale of what you're looking at right now.
Big.
So my idea here, and I want your guys' feedback, is should we release the 4 Sorcerer Kings, not generic Sorcerer Kings, the 4 Sorcerer Kings, as Founders exclusives? Now, I do give a heads up. When you look at the size and the intricacy of these monstrosities, they're going to be, what was the word you wanted, Daryl?
Exclusive.
Yes. Exclusive. Exclusive. They're going to be very exclusive because they're very large. But my God, do I want to make them. So please give me an excuse to make them.
You don't exactly. One kidney is plenty. Jordan, you have a question.
Yeah, well, just a thought. I mean, you could always do like a crowdfunding thing for, or like a pre-order thing to see how many you'd want, if depending on how expensive they were. In fact, you could also do that. That awesome sovereign art we have, and how expensive that might be if you were to do that. You could do that. I'm just saying, you could do that.
All right. Now you're just trying to bait Stavro.
Look, I've talked to Stavros once about the fantastic art that is on the Sovereign, and I think that would be incredible. Also incredibly expensive, but amazing.
We agree.
We unfortunately agree. Bloody resin and silicone, guys, has gone insane. So anyway, yeah, this was these were original ideas for the Mahout, sensible, low-key kind of stuff. The bloody thing's the size of the Brontor, of the Tontor. Eventually we said, hey, how about we don't bankrupt ourselves? But yeah, the idea of making all of the four divinities, all of the 4 Sorcerer Kings would be would be pretty insane.
I think
I'd love to consider. What's it called? Kickstarter. I don't like the image Kickstarter gives out.
We have not done them, as I think everyone's aware. We've done internal crowdfunding, and that is probably where we would stick. But
maybe we do an internal crowdfunding on these. It's just war games that have gone to Kickstarter have never left Kickstarter, which is not a good sign. So, maybe that's not a bad idea to do a sort of an internal crowdfund, and see how many people, and we do it like a limited founders exclusive just for the art. Frankly, just for the art.
Yeah. All right, everyone. That was today's Deluxe. Hello. I hope everyone had a good time. I hope everyone is excited for January 9th. Oh, Gwendol, you have a question.
Yes, small question from the lore addicts in our community. Do you have any plans for more lore books in the coming months?
Oh, Gwendol, you've made me so happy. You
yes,
made me so very, very
I can
happy.
see Stavros praising. Yes, I knew it.
We're just you know, 2025 is going to be fun. Remember, we've only shown you January. Like this shows you January of 25. That's it.
That sounds like very juicy news.
It is juicy news. January 9th, we're going to show you more of 2025.
Most excellent. Thank you.
Most excellent indeed.
They're not going to give. No offense, guys, but when you see the new sculpts and the new faction, you're not going to care about the lore book. We'll have to remind you, guys.
No,
the lore book.
I can see the comments.
To your point, I don't think we will talk about the lore book on January 9th. That will be a later happy hour because January 9th will be about one thing.
Yeah.
And only one thing.
Yeah.
Liam, you had your. Oh,
sorry,
sorry.
Just to answer the question in general, we are actively pursuing 2 fronts on helping you have better access to lore. That is what I'm going to say now. There are 2 avenues we are pursuing.
Yes.
Yeah.
For
Actually,
a kind of immediate future. Then there are more long term.
Yeah. One of the things that we noticed is that in our rush to provide improved miniatures, to provide the RPG, we took our focus a little bit away from the lore, and so it's coming back with a vengeance. You're going to see that the new 100 Kingdoms army list is going to have little lore snippets at the bottom of every entry. Those of you that play Magic, you know how those little magic quotes at the bottom to help you get in the mood a little bit more, almost like the descriptions you have in the Magic items. And we're going to be doing this for every army list. I am also in the process of writing what we call the tier 3s, but those are the full-blown explanations for the lore of every unit in the game. That is slower than you would think, but also provides a hell of a lot of world building because a lot of these units connect to the culture, the society, of their existing faction. So
we have a
much
really
more
cool
than
idea for presenting that to you for the upcoming January 9th happy hour and what's being presented at it. Well, the way that lore is going to be presented to you will be new and different.
Yep.
Very good. Thank you very much again.
So again, there's going to be a very strong focus on getting the lore to you guys through your army lists, through what's it called? Through the internet, through a lore book, just making sure that it pervades And Leo actually had an even more radical idea for the army book that we're looking at. Not the army book, sorry, for the army lists that we're going to be looking at.
Cody, you were next up with a question.
Yeah, I was curious. We've had a rework of the Nords and the Wadroon and now the Hunter Kingdom. Can you say what the next one might be?
Starts with a D.
Okay. All right.
Ends in an Om.
He said it. I wasn't expecting him to say it.
You can't have all the fun.
Yeah, it's another Wadroon rework. Yeah.
Jordan.
Yeah. So I guess it's sort of lore / rules question. I noticed that the Order of the Shield Knight Errant did not have any like magic canceling abilities. Does this mean potentially in the future, based on the lore? Because I usually myths have some basis in fact. Will we have any Order of the Shield folks potentially have magic canceling abilities for the story that we have currently going on?
I will invite you to re-examine who is supposed to have that and who dismisses it.
Fair enough.
It's not solely that is supposed to have that. It's the Templar that is supposed to have that. And he immediately dismisses this as, yeah, this is the boogeyman that Gifted have about the Templars.
Gotcha.
Johan.
Yeah, I actually had a question. Will Project 9 actually be able people to vote on the next faction, or have you selected one faction to come out?
Oh, Faction 9 is determined. There will be no voting this time around.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. No worries. Ifmai is next.
Upgrade kits. They're getting a little scarce. Are we ever going to get more upgrade kits for different factions so that we can add them to the prize pools, or are they done?
We know we're looking at them. I don't know where Stavro is. You still there, Stavro?
Yep.
Oh, okay. STLs.
Looking to make them plastic, actually. Looking to make them plastic. It is
that's
a fantastic way to train my young sculptors. So some things need to line up for that to be able to happen, but we haven't abandoned them, and we actually have an idea to expand a little bit on them for other ideas that come in the future that are not allowed to talk about.
Joshua.
Hello. One thing I was a little curious about, are we going to see more like simplified imagery of, say, like theist symbols or like religious kind of symbols to be able to paint on like shields or image files, maybe to make like, water transfers if we so could?
We're actually looking into water transfers. But yes, we can definitely do that. That is a good idea. Let me write that down, actually.
Would be kind of nice to have, the shields look a little more, of the faith kind of thing for the 100 Kingdoms. But thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any other questions before we sign off? Love it. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for a great time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Happy holidays.